Charlie Parsons, a boxing voice. Been a while since I've done.
Go on, Parsons.
Just makes me realise how tall you are, and then obviously that Eddie obviously delighted to see me.
Let's start with the necklace, Parsons. Gucci. Yeah. I'll see you, Parsons. Look at you. I met some geezer the other day who he said, my boss, Charlie Parsons.
Yeah, Joe, yeah.
But looking back, that must be a different Charlie Parsons. Or is that you?
No, that is me.
Wow.
I posted it. And
you really are out there, Parsons, with employees.
Are you impressed?
With Gucci. Hold on, is it the matching bracelet? Yeah. Right, for viewers out there, Parsons has got a Gucci necklace, and a Gucci bracelet.
Thanks, Eddie. Are you happy to see me though?
Very happy to see you. You know I've been here for 2 hours doing these interviews, and you are last but one with Puro. But Andy Puro from Boxing Social has promised me he only wants to do 90 seconds, which is unreal. So,
right, let's talk. Joe Cordina fight Tagawa, the Japanese world champion. Sort of the coming out party for Joe Cordina. He said up on the top table that, look, he hasn't shown anything he needed something like a Gawa to show the levels that he's got. Yeah. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I think Joe Cordina is a brilliant fighter, but at the same time, it's a very difficult fight, especially when you haven't fought at world level before. And that's the truth. You know, probably Joe's best win is against Korbanov, who's fighting Zelfa Barrett, and he's the European champion. So the difficulty is he's going into a fight of this magnitude, having to deliver on the night. I loved what Joe Cordina said. I love the pressure that he's heaping on himself. Must win, now or never. I'm looking to get on the front foot and knock him out. If he does that, by the way, you're going to get an unbelievable fight. But going to be a great atmosphere, and this is it for Joe. This is his moment. In his home city, chance to become world champion, and no one can take it away from him if he wins. You know, genuine world-class fighter in Agawa, great world champion. This is it.
Leonard Ellerby had done a thing with Showtime.
Saw it, it's great.
I think he said that if he saw you first week, so I don't think anyone's picked up on this part. He said he wants to stomp you out.
Bit violent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's he's threatening me. And I will just say I'm so scared. No, but seriously, like he says, I want to keep it professional, but I want to stomp him out. I don't want to talk about Eddie Hearn, but let me just do this 7-minute segment for Showtime. I mean, how good was that for me? 7 minutes on Showtime talking about Eddie Hearn. But I don't think me and Leonard are ever going to get on really. He said that I know what it's about. I actually don't. But he's welcome to call me or meet me. It's not a problem, and we can have a chat and see where the land lies.
Tank, free agency, I mean...
Well, it say that, but I actually, I got a letter from Mayweather Promotions telling me to stop talking about him and whatever, because he's under contract to Mayweather Promotions. So if he is, so be it. How long he is for, I don't know, but we would never interfere with a fighter under contract. And you know, if the opportunity comes available, of course we'll be very aggressive with an offer for Gervonta Davis, but if he's under contract, obviously we don't want to have those conversations.
Your thoughts on the performance against Rolly Romero?
Gervonta's a great fighter. I've been a fan for a long time. You know, you see him filling up those arenas. He's a great fighter, good star, and props to Leonard Ellerby and those guys have done a good job. I just feel that sometimes a fighter, I don't know the deal that he's on, but sometimes a fighter starts looking at all the filled up seats and all the pay-per-view buys and goes, who's making the money here? And that's why we like to give our big names the opportunity to own the commercial revenue in those fights. And maybe that's what he's thinking. I had no idea. Good fight. You know, I think Gervonta's levels above Rolly, but I understand Rolly was in the fight, and you know, it was a great knockout. He's a star.
Leonard did say, well, he said many things, but another one of the things that he said was that Canelo Bivol was a bad pay-per-view, only doing 300,000.
Canelo Bivol did over 600,000 buys. Right? So how is that a bad pay-per-view when Canelo against Plant did 700,000 buys, which was a fight for the undisputed championship against an American?
US fighter, yeah.
These people, like Leonard says about how Canelo has lost his star power going on DAZN. You know that like they talk about that fight was bad for Canelo Alvarez. He's boxed on DAZN for 2 years. If you read the Forbes list or the highest paid earnings list.
He is on there.
Yeah, why do you think that is? Because of his relationship with DAZN and because of his star power, and it's worked. So Canelo Alvarez is a huge star, and people seem to forget, we promote him, people seem to forget that the Triple G fight will be his 5th fight in his last 6 with Matchroom. So I think we're doing all right, but the Canelo Bivol numbers were outstanding, and the Triple G numbers in September will also be outstanding. And DAZN have a fantastic business in America, and they've worked very hard, and they're in a great position.
Does the loss of Canelo affect your relationship with him at all? I mean,
my relationship with Canelo?
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
because
you know what fighters are like.
Canelo and Eddie Reynoso make the decisions. They wanted to fight Dimitri Bivol. We all felt it was a good fight. He didn't box great on the night. Bivol was outstanding. He won. We move forward into the biggest fight in boxing against Triple G in September. So, I believe he can win that fight. If he does, then he rematches Bivol in another one of the biggest fights in boxing. Like, Canelo Alvarez is the backbone of American boxing. He's the only guy that's doing those kind of numbers. So, he's a massive part of our business, and we've got a very good relationship with him.
Anthony Joshua, Saudi Arabia, I think it was July 23, now potentially being pushed back a little bit more. Site deal's been agreed and everything, so...
Has it? Oh,
well,
nice
that's what I've read.
Nice of you to tell me so, Parsons.
I take it not.
No, we're pretty much there with the site deal. It's just got to a stage now where it's 7 weeks this Saturday, right? We've got media tours to do, international media tours, TV rights deals to do. So there is a chance, and this will be subject to what happens in the next couple of days, that could be pushed back 2 or 3 weeks. No problem with the fight, no problem with anything. You're going to get the fight. It's just taking a little bit more longer than anticipated. I know you're bored of hearing that, but I believe next week you'll get the final date announcement.
Lots of critics on sort of, I know the...
Lots of critics everywhere, Parsons.
I know the war in Ukraine didn't help, and you would have wanted the fight earlier for Alexander Usyk. Yeah. But people do talk about Anthony Joshua's activity as a fighter.
I agree. And, AJ's been a bit unlucky because COVID popped up. He had one fight, and that wasn't, he beat Andy Ruiz. Then he waited nearly a year to fight against Pulev because there were no crowds. Then he boxed Usyk in September, and now he boxes probably in August. So, yes, and one thing we're looking to do with AJ is to get him active. But we can't give up this rematch. All he wants to do is rematch Usyk. So, yes, it's been a very difficult time around the world for this fight, and these big deals take time. But it is upon us, and you will see AJ become a 3-time world heavyweight champion this summer.
Should I be nervous about going to Saudi Arabia?
Why?
I don't know. I hear things about Saudi, don't you? I didn't do the last trip with Ruiz. I went in the industry.
Some of the places that you go, I wouldn't send my worst enemy. I mean, I've seen. You went to Vegas. Some of the places you must have ended up in Las Vegas. By the way, we did an event in Saudi. It was outstanding. It was a great place to visit, great place to stage a massive international sporting event. And if it's in Saudi, you're more than welcome, Parsons, and you will have a great time.
Thank you very much. Just finally from me, Dillian Whyte. People have spoke obviously about his relationship with yourself, and then with Sky also. He was on Sky pay-per-view. Have you caught up with him since the loss to Tyson Fury?
Couple of chats. He slid in my live the other day on Instagram, and he is a free agent. He's can field offers from everyone. We'd love to get him back on, get him back to winning ways. We've got a great relationship, and I'm sure everybody would like to see Dillian Whyte in big fights, promoters, broadcasters, and we haven't talked about specific dates and opponents, but I'm sure at some point we will.
Do you expect him to stay with you though?
All being remotely equal, yeah, 100%. But at the end of the day, it's a business. He's at the back end of his career now. He'll be looking to make as much money as possible. But we've always worked very well together with Val, and I don't think he would be able to have the relationship that we've had with any other promoter, as you've just seen. Dillian's team sometimes can be difficult, but we always get business done. And I don't think they would enjoy working with anyone else the way they enjoy working with us. And he's a loyal, credible, stand-up guy, and I think he'd like to finish his career with us.
Finally from me, a schedule announcement that we haven't got anything after this in the UK lined up, so when
July, you're going to have 2 shows in July, which will be announced. I was hoping tomorrow, actually, possibly, but certainly over the weekend at the latest. For
anything else in June in the UK or no?
June, no. We've got June 10 next week in Mexico, and then June 25th, card of the year in San Antonio, quadruple World Championship header.
Perfect, cheers, mate.